This is not Time's The Scream. This is what Edvard Munch painted after it, when one terrified figure was no longer enough. In Time's Anxiety, he took the same burning sky, the same bridge, the same feeling of panic, and replaced the lonely scream with a crowd walking straight toward us. The shocking part is that nobody here is screaming. Nobody is running. They simply stare. And somehow, that makes this painting even more disturbing. Before we follow this face deeper into the painting, subscribe to the channel because this is one of those works where the longer you look, the stranger it becomes. The face in the foreground is the key. At first, she looks like a woman in a pink bonnet, but the closer we move, the less human she becomes. Her skin is yellow-green, her eyes are wide but strangely empty, and her mouth is almost sealed shut. She is not painted like a normal portrait. She is painted like a mask, a face that has forgotten how to express emotion. And that is the first mystery of this painting. Is she afraid? Is she warning us? Or has anxiety already passed through her so completely that nothing human is left on the surface? Munch Museum records Time's Anxiety, or Time's Angst, as an oil painting from 1894, now in the Munch Museum collection in Oslo. Now look at the people around her. They are close to each other, but they do not feel connected. The man in the top hat stands like a dark vertical wall. The figures on the left almost dissolve into black clothing and pale faces. No one reaches out. No one comforts anyone. They are together, but every person seems completely alone. This is why Time's Anxiety Times feels so modern. Munch is not showing panic as a dramatic event. He is showing panic as a crowd. A silent procession of people who have learned to keep walking, even when something inside them is collapsing. The Art Institute of Chicago connects Munch's anxiety images to staring faces, masks, alienation, and his transformation of city life into something nightmarish. To understand why this matters, we have to look at Time's The Scream. In Munch's own text about that motif, he described walking with two friends when the sky suddenly turned blood red. He felt exhausted, leaned against a fence, and sensed an infinite scream passing through nature. The National Museum identifies this landscape as the Christiania Fjord, now Oslo Fjord, seen from Ekeberg Hill. But in Time's The Scream, the terror belongs to one isolated figure. In Time's Anxiety, Munch makes a much darker move. He removes the screaming person and gives us a crowd instead. It is as if the scream has spread from one body into society itself. The sky is not just a background. It presses down on the whole scene. Red, orange, yellow, and blue twist together like weather that has become emotional. Below it, the fjord and the road bend in unnatural waves. Nothing here is stable. Even the landscape seems nervous. And yet the people do not look at the sky. That is the disturbing part. The universe above them is burning, but their eyes are fixed on us. In Time's The Scream, nature attacks the individual. In Time's Anxiety, the crowd carries that attack forward. This bridge is a trap. The railing cuts diagonally across the painting, forcing our eye toward the figures. There is no comfortable place to stand. The crowd is coming forward, the background is closing in, and we the viewers are placed directly in their path. That may be the real horror of the painting. We are not safely observing anxiety from the outside. Munch puts us exactly where the anxiety is going. The faces are not just looking into space. They are looking at us. There are two main ways to read this face. One interpretation is personal. Munch knew anxiety from the inside, and many of his strongest works transform private fear into images. Another interpretation is social. This is not one person's panic, but the emotional sickness of modern life people moving through the city, wearing calm faces, while something painful hides underneath. Munch's larger project, later known as Time's The Frieze of Life, explored themes like love, loss, pain, loneliness, life, and death. So Time's Anxiety Times is not just a mood. It is part of a whole visual universe where human beings are exposed, fragile, and unable to escape themselves. And now the painting becomes even stranger. Because the woman in the foreground is not screaming, not crying, not moving dramatically. She is almost motionless. Her fear has become quiet. And that is why she stays in your mind. Munch understood something terrifying. Anxiety is not always loud. Sometimes it is a face in a crowd. Sometimes it is the feeling that everyone around you is walking forward, but nobody is truly alive inside the moment. So when we look at time's anxiety, we are not just looking at people on a bridge in 1894. We are looking at a question Munch painted more than a century ago. What happens when fear stops being an exception and becomes normal? That is what makes this painting so powerful today. The scream time shows the moment when terror breaks out of a person. Anxiety times shows the moment after when the scream has been swallowed, hidden behind masks, and carried by an entire crowd. So what do you think? Is this painting about one woman's fear, Munch's private anxiety, or the fear of modern society itself? Write your version in the comments. And if you want more videos where we uncover the hidden meanings inside famous paintings, subscribe to the channel because the next canvas may be even more unsettling.